Kidd Kraddick in the morning.
The Showbiz Top 5.
Hey, this is Kellie Rasberry with your Showbiz Top 5 for Monday. It's June 29th. Another death to report. This time it's the infomercial star Billy Mays. You've seen him on the OxyClean commercials and Kaboom and those types of things. Well, he died in his sleep Saturday night at his home in Tampa. His wife found him the next morning. He did not wake up after going to bed the night before. Now, Billy had been in Philadelphia filming another infomercial, and he was flying home on a U.S. Airways flight when a tire blew out upon landing. Now, initially he was telling people that something fell from overhead and hit him on the head, and luckily, I have such a hard head, and didn't think he was injured. And then he was talking to a friend of his on the phone that night and said he had hit his head on the luggage compartment, implying that he perhaps wasn't wearing a seatbelt when the plane landed, which is initially what the FAA said and later retracted. But I guess the autopsy will determine the exact cause of death. It'd be sort of like the same thing that happened to Natasha Richardson, a head injury where you think everything's fine and then ultimately it ends up being a fatal injury. Now, 2 celebrity weddings took place over the weekend. Kendra Wilkinson, the former girl next door, married her NFL sweetheart Hank Baskett in a ceremony at the Playboy Mansion. Originally, Hugh Hefner was scheduled to walk her down the aisle, but for whatever reason, she decided to have her brother do the honors there. Kendra and Hank expecting their first child on Christmas Day, and they are honeymooning at an undisclosed location. Maybe you know what it is, but I haven't read it. And then Eddie Van Halen, he got married Saturday night to his girlfriend. He's been dating her for about 3 years. Her name's Janie Liszewski. Now, Eddie's brother Alex was ordained over the internet or something like that, so he performed the ceremony. His 18-year-old son Wolfgang served as best man, and his ex-wife Valerie Bertinelli was among the guests there for the ceremony. Now, Farrah Fawcett's funeral is going to be held tomorrow afternoon in Los Angeles, the Cathedral of Our Lady of the Angels. Ryan O'Neal has made all the arrangements. It is a private ceremony by invitation only for the mourners who will be gathered there. The jail is letting their son Redmond out. He's been serving time for these drug possession charges. He will be allowed to wear a suit, so he doesn't have to wear the prison jumpsuit, that bright orange thing, but he will have to remain in handcuffs and shackles for the services. Now, during part 2 of the Real Housewives of New Jersey finale, we didn't really get a lot of revelations. Danielle spoke some about her childhood and the trauma she suffered, but then again, she's also accused of being a pathological liar, so we don't know who's telling the truth there or not. Now, Danielle did ask Dina for forgiveness, which Dina gave, on condition that she really means it and time will tell. Now, the sister Caroline, Dina's sister, said, "I will never forgive you. You're garbage. You know what you did, but I'm not going to say anything because Dina made me promise not to." Well, everybody's thinking, what was it? Danielle's saying, "I have no idea." And, of course, I'm thinking it's a hit. She tried to put a hit out on Dina. Well, Danielle later blogged that she found out after the fact from a family member, from Dina's family, that apparently she had given a phone number to Dina's ex-brother-in-law so he could contact proper people with questions he had regarding something that was none of her business. I have a feeling it had to be a little bit something more than that, but maybe they'll reveal the truth in season 2 of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. And then finally, we have to talk a little bit more about Michael Jackson's death. Due to the death, the producers of Bruno decided to cut a scene out of the movie. It was just a very small part where Bruno is interviewing LaToya Jackson, trying to get her to talk like Michael, and then grabbing her cell phone and trying to find Michael's cell phone number in there and then announcing it in German, what he thought it was. So they decided, out of respect for the family, to cut that. A lot of people speaking out about their relationships with Michael Jackson, the former nanny, saying, I was witness to a lot of prescription drug abuse, had to pump his stomach several times when he combined things inappropriately. Lisa Marie Presley issued a statement how heartbroken she is. She also says that any rumors that her marriage to Michael Jackson was a sham are completely false, that it was a real marriage. It was unusual because it was 2 people living in these really unreal worlds that came together and found comfort like that. But she says it was a real marriage as far as, they were concerned. She said, though, that she finally had to leave him because she was emotionally and spiritually exhausted in her quest to save him from certain self-destructive behavior and from the awful vampires and leeches that he surrounded himself with. Basically, she's blaming the people around him, his entourage, for leading to his ultimate death. She says she was angry with Michael for several years after their divorce, but she says anything negative she felt toward him died the day that he died. So a lot more will be coming out in the days ahead. We have an English newspaper that says they've got the leaked autopsy results. I'm sure we'll be talking about that a little bit more tomorrow. And that is your Showbiz Top 5 for Monday.